Hello and welcome back to Sim by the Mile. We've gone stateside today as we are here on the San Bernardino Line driving this F1250 Metrolink from Speedway here all the way into LA. We have some NASCAR fans who've just finished watching a race here at Auto Club Speedway and they'd like to get back to LA, so what we'll do is we'll get the cab set up and we'll get out of here. This is the first time really I've been driving an American train. I don't normally run them, so it should be a little different. Let's go rear headlights. We want these ones. So yeah, this is the first time we have been on the San Bernardino Line, so I'm quite looking forward to giving it a try. I've heard a lot of good things about this route in general, so we'll see what it has to offer, and it should be quite good driving into LA as well. The scenario itself is about an hour 10 minutes, I believe, is the one I picked, the service, so yeah, we'll see what we get from it. Hopefully you get a little bit of traffic and stuff as well on the line. I know for a fact that this route in itself, going out to LA to San Bernardino then onto Cajun Pass, is super busy with train traffic in real life. It's a big connection, moving freight traffic out of the port of LA, along with obviously the passenger services which we're doing today. We'll get the doors locked. I think we are a little bit behind leaving, but as soon as they're locked we'll get a move on. Okay, cool. So we got 42 miles to LA. We'll release the brake pressure, give us a little bit of power, and hopefully we get moving. I have had a little bit of a test just to make sure the rail driver is working, and the first time I tried to run this train, I couldn't work out why I couldn't get us started. I think it's because we didn't know I had to put the generator field on. Again, I'm not used to driving American engines, but this time we are out of here. We do have a 45 speed limit coming up as well, so maybe we're switching tracks. Let's take a little look at the external camera. So we're back with me here in the cab now. We're just about to enter this 45 zone as we switch tracks here. I assume we're going on to what I guess would be the main line. We're dead on 45 at the moment, well, just ever so slightly under at 44, and a little bit of single track running. I don't know if this is full single track, or is it double tracked all the way through? You will find out together, because it's the first time I have been on this line myself. They have some like little switches and stuff. I'm assuming these are servicing different industries along the track. I mean, it looks like there's a factory there, warehouse or something. So it is quite busy in terms of different tracks and different branches. And over on this side we have what looks like some construction work going on. Very cool. It's very, very cool. So yeah, this is the LA Metrolink service we're running at the moment, and in doing a little bit of research for this video I didn't realise how busy Metrolink were. So the company itself obviously runs passenger services in the California LA area, and yeah, they have 60 stations and over 500 miles worth of track that they own. So they are a pretty big network. And this is probably one of the busiest lines that they operate on, with all the freight traffic coming down and the passenger traffic. In my research, I was saying that it can hold up to 90 to 100 trains per day in both directions, with the passenger traffic coming into LA, and then obviously the freight traffic that runs the line leaving the port of LA, which I think is the busiest port in America, but don't quote me on that, I might be wrong. We are getting a little bit of frame hits as well, which I've not really experienced on the West Coast Main Line, which I have played quite a bit of. The West Coast Main Line, for the most part, is pretty perfect when it comes to frames. Where this, we are getting a little bit of stuttering. Like just turning there, we got a little bit of frame drops. Although it is pretty. It is nice. It seems to be very built up. So one thing that is common on this line, because of the shared track and shared operations we have between freight and passengers, is they can be a lot of delays caused on the passenger side, just getting stuck behind freight traffic going to LA off the Cajun Pass into the port. But that'd be something that'd be cool to do, though, would be to take a freight train. Now with the route hopping we have in Train Sim World 5, take a freight train along the line all the way from LA to San Bernardino, and then up Cajun Pass as well. I'm pretty sure I do own the Cajun Pass route. I don't think I've ever played it, but I'm pretty sure I do own it, so that'll be something we will have to try at some point. Looking at the top corner here, and I don't really know how American signals work, but it does seem to say I have a yellow, so we might need to slow down afterwards. See, it's been a bit weird with the frames, because it'll go from, like, now we're running smooth 60 FPS at the moment, and then I guess it's when it's loading in scenery, it'll just completely drop, like there, just frame drops to 7. It seems like it's unoptimized, so I don't know if other people have experienced that. If you have, do comment. But yeah, it certainly for me seems to be unoptimized. We do have a flashing yellow light there. I don't know what that means, so I'm just going to use the dynamic brake, I think. Yeah, going uphill as well, so that should help slow us. I don't know if we're going to see a red light come and have to quite sharpishly stop, so I want to start bringing us back in terms of speed a little bit, just in case I see in a mile a red light pop up. I'm hoping, because it did have the flashing yellow, that's at least means we're going to be swapping tracks. But we'll see. So yeah, so it looks like the signal ahead of us is yellow as well. I don't know if this works the same way it does here in the UK, where you have 2 yellows and then a red. If we are following the service down. Although, to be fair, we do have an hour to go 34 miles, so maybe we're going to get stuck behind some freight traffic on today's little run out. Because it shouldn't take us that long to get from San Bernardino, Speedway into LA. It's all single track as well at this point, so if we are stuck behind something, we're going to be stuck behind it for a while. So we got single yellows there. I'm going to assume we do have a red coming up, and this works the same way as it does in the UK. So we'll just gently bring the speed down. And then we're just using the dynamic brake at the moment. We can use this automatic brake here if we do need to bleed off speed a little bit more, if we do end up seeing a red light pop up. Scenery-wise, though, I've got to say, the scenery is absolutely stunning. It does feel like we are in a big city. Obviously, LA is absolutely massive, if this even counts as LA at this point. I'm not a different city, but it does feel built up and, you know, it does give me that big LA vibe and the palm trees. So scenery wise, apart from the frame dropping, which is really weird why it's doing that, I guess it's just not optimized properly. But that can be said about a lot of Dovetail Games products, really, can't it? But other than that, yeah, it does feel really good. So obviously we're now well into Train Sim World 5. We've got a new American route coming out relatively soon, the MTBA. So how are you all feeling about that? Are you excited for the new US route that's going to be joining us end of October? So literally 20 days away probably now from the new route dropping, the new Boston route. And then we do have some exciting announcements as well outside of the new Boston route. We've got an absolute surprise in the Manchester Airport commuter line also being announced. That is something I am so looking forward to. I will pick up the Boston route, but yeah, I really am looking forward to Manchester Airport commuter, being from Manchester and using them stations. You know, it's always good when your local station comes to a train simulator and you can, you know, drive like your own services. So, and drive hopefully the Class 323 and its iconic whining sounds of the engine. So it's something I'm looking forward to. I know it mentions Wilmslow as well and Stockport, and with the Pendolino coming on the West Coast Main Line, hopefully we do get a little bit of Pendolino running. It'll be nice if it was to go as far as Crewe, but I don't think it'll go that far. Maybe Alderley Edge will be the cut-off for the line, but yeah, if we did, it would be great if we did manage to get Pendolino services running out of Manchester Piccadilly through Stockport, over Stockport Viaduct, and then down to through Wilmslow and then down to Crewe. But if not, then we still get hopefully we'll get some Pendolino use out of it. The East Midlands Class 150 that also runs between Manchester and Stockport, so maybe we'll get some use out of that as well, and it's better layers, so that is something I am excited for. And I'm not sure if the video will be out yet, but I have been to one of the stations along that line and done some filming, just to give you an idea as to how busy that section of train track really is in real life. I think we were there for about 20 minutes, and in that 20 minutes at Burnage is where I did the filming, we saw 7 services, and we actually missed one while I was changing platform. I thought I had enough time to get from platform 1 to platform 2, but yeah, as I was leaving platform 2, another service went past that we didn't get on video. So in the space of 15-20 minutes, 8 trains is a lot of services going through between just down the line between Manchester Piccadilly and Manchester Airport. So, and there are also freight services that do run that line as well. So we do have another yellow here, 29 miles away, and we do have to get our speed down to 40, so I'm going to start putting on a little bit of brake, just minimum application. Yeah, we're going to need to brake harder than that. First real test to see how good the brakes are in this train. We've got both the dynamic brake on and the automatic brake running. But we are losing speed relatively quickly, so I'm going to release the automatic brake now and hopefully just keep the dynamic brake on. And that should bring us below 40. I'm assuming we're stopping because it looks like there's a station just up ahead. So a little bit of a speed restriction as we go through whichever station this is. There we go. Let's head back down to 0. And just kind of idly throttle through the station right here. And we do actually have a red just ahead of us as well, so I am going to bring in the automatic brake. We might be held. I don't know if we're going back to single track or not, but maybe we're being held because it's going back to single track. I'm not 100% sure. Did mention there was quite a lot of delays along this line due to traffic and things, so maybe with the freight traffic that comes through here, so maybe that's the reason why we're slowing down, who knows. Now red should just be up ahead. It looks like it does cross over. You can just see the signal there. So we are going back to single track. So yeah, it seems like we're being held for this service coming the other way. I'm hoping that if we just slowed down enough, it would turn green for us, and it did, so that was nicely done in terms of the driving skills. Back at 40-mile-an-hour speed limit now as we cross back onto single track running. So of the new routes that have been released with Trains and World 5, the West Coast Main Line, San Bernardino, which we're on today, and also the Frankfurt route, what's been your favourite so far? For me, it's definitely been... Just having a look at what this is. It looks like there's a stand there. Is that a... Oh shit, we're speeding. Is that a drag racing track? I'm assuming it must be a drag racing track. A little bit of braking because I didn't realise, I was too busy looking at what that was out the window. I'm assuming that must be a drag racing track. And then we brake and we go straight to an 80-mile-an-hour limit. So we'll get some power back on. Anyway, as I was saying, with regards to the new routes that have been released with Train Sim World 5, obviously we've had the West Coast Main Line, we've got San Bernardino, which we're on today, and we've had the Frankfurt route. What's everyone's favourite so far? For me, as I said, I do love the West Coast Main Line. I've been having a lot of fun driving that. I have tried to run the Frankfurt line. I'm not the biggest fan of German trains, and British Ace has spoken about this as well. But when I was running the Frankfurt line, the frame rates, I mean, they can have sections here where it's unoptimized or it's just dying. But in Frankfurt, leaving there, it was pretty much unplayable. I know British Ace mentioned that there was a patch that seemed to essentially break the route in one of his either live streams or videos. But it is fun. There's a lot of AI traffic leaving Frankfurt, and it would have been enjoyable if it was absolutely optimized and running well on my system. But I'm pretty sure that is a route problem and not my system problem. It seems to be a lot of the lag spikes and seem to be when it's loading in, scenery, or if you have like lots of AI traffic and that type of thing. So, got a little bit of what looks like a siding here. That's one of the interesting things about this route, actually, just from riding it now on this little section. There are a lot of sidings and little yards off to the side, so I imagine doing some of the US freight stuff along the line could be quite fun, like nipping into like little yards and dropping wagons off and picking wagons up. I don't know if that's an operation they do here. Just going to keep minimal application on the brake as we are going downhill. We are at near enough a 2% slope, so we are quite heavy, and we do have to get down to 60. We also have a flashing yellow. I'm assuming we're going to go back to a dual track section relatively soon. I'm also waiting for something to happen because we've only got 23 miles to go and we've got 50 minutes to get there, so unless we're going to get held at a signal for a while or stuck behind some traffic. That doesn't seem right in terms of when we're expected to arrive at LA Union Station. We have made the 60. I'm going to keep minimal application on the brake just to try and keep us at 60 where we are at the moment. We should have another yellow light coming up shortly as well. I'm going to put a bit more brake in because we are just ever so slightly speeding. We'll bleed off a little bit. Of speed that we've got here on the slope. So when was the subdivision built then? So the subdivision was built in the late 12th century, that we're on today, as an expansion to the Santa Fe Railway at the time. And the purpose behind the line being built, that we're on today, as we mentioned previously, was regarding freight. And the Port of LA was growing, they needed a way to get freight in and out of LA. To be distributed across the states. So the Santa Fe Railway of the time decided it was going to build obviously this San Bernardino subdivision from San Bernardino connecting Cajun Pass primarily to move freight, and it is now part of the BNSF network as freight carriers across the United States. And then for the passenger operation, obviously the Metrolink that we are in today run on the passenger side. Also, I believe Union Pacific do run on the line as well, again transporting freight into and out of the Port of LA. Looks like we might be going back to another dual track section here. We do have a green light. We do have some loading issues there with on these junctions. I've noticed that a few times, just coming in where it doesn't look like the texture's loading correctly. It's also a little bit of a tricky just trying to maintain our speed with this grade that we're going down. We are a bit up and down. We'll just keep minimum application on the brake, but we are a little bit up and down in terms of our speed jumping all over the place. Throttle is currently on idle as well, so it is literally just the weight of the train that's causing us to pick up speed. I'm not applying any throttle currently, and it's a tricky little beast. We are certainly making good progress though. Again, minimum application on the brake, just trying to keep us under as best as we can and keep us rolling at this 60. This whole ride into LA though is basically at the moment just all downhill. Literally just all downhill. So we're back in the cab now. Hope you enjoyed them exterior shots, and we are pretty much seem to be flattening out a little bit in terms of the grade we've been going down, although I've said that and it's just now increased to 0.6 as opposed to 0.3. I am going to feed in a little bit of throttle though, because we do have a 70 coming up just before this next station. We're also getting really bad frames here. There we go, it seems to have evened out. I'm assuming a lot of the frame drops are just issues with trying to load in the scenery. And now we've just completely froze. We can go up to 70. I'm not sure why we just had that big freeze there. Like, I do have a gaming PC, and it's showing its age a little bit now. It's about 4 years old, but it has got a 3070 graphics card in there. It shouldn't have any problems running a train simulator. Even on high graphical settings. So I'm gonna say this is just poor optimization on Dovetail's part as the creators of the route. That guy just jumped the crossing. Absolute lunatic. Guy has a death wish trying to jump the crossing in front of a train. Didn't want to wait a couple of minutes for us just to go by. To be fair, in America I can maybe understand it a little bit more with their mile-long freight trains that take 10 minutes to pass. Again, we get cars just not stopping at the crossing. That's clearly a bug that Dovetail need to fix, is actually have cars stop at the crossing like they're meant to. We do have to get down to 40, so we're going to go back on the brakes here. And again, we get more of these little siding yards and little freight yards. I actually think that's really cool. A river crossing here, is it? Or is this one of these classic LA little canal things? I just know them from like the GTA games. I'm assuming that's what we just went over. One of the little canals. But yeah, other than the issues we've had with frames, I've been enjoying this little run. I mean, what we got here, this looks like a... like little lines running into this factory. Like loading aggregate... not aggregate, loading from the silos there. That's cool. Another siding here. You can just tell how industrialized this little bit, this little rail corridor is. We do need to brake quite heavily just to get down to 40, which is starting just after that switch we've just gone through, but there we go. Ever so slightly speeding. We are... it does feel though now though that we are straight into the mix of the city. Straight into the mix of the industry, really. We joining another line here. We've gone to 4 tracks, so... I wonder where that leads to. Again, if you know where it leads to, let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear from anyone who follows me. We're back up to 60 now. We've gone through that signal, so we can put the speed on as we have this other track joining us, and it looks like we're going to be merging over. Got a few merges as it goes down to 2 from 4. Okay. Looks like we're going on a flyover. I thought that was a graphical glitch at first. No, maybe we're on single track on this little flyover then. This is interesting. So that was a little bit of an interesting section with the flyover there. Just coming off the flyover, we did have a flashing yellow, so it starts dropping our speed again. It looks like we have to get all the way down to 25 as well, so keep the brake on. I think we've got a red signal just the other side of this station we're coming into. I'm hoping if we time this right, we can avoid getting stuck at the red. But we'll see. Just 12 miles to go until the station though, so we've not got far. Just crawling into whichever station this is. Our red signal is just the other side of it. I don't think I'm going to get lucky this time like we were last time, so... So here we are, we're stuck at red signal. Hopefully we won't be stuck here for too long. And we're back, and I think this is what we've been held for. We've been waiting for about, I'll say about 10 minutes. Maybe a little longer, but it looks like this was the train we were being held for, so hopefully once this gets off the single line, we'll be given the green light and we can get back on our way. Just 11 miles to go into LA now, so not far once we are given that green signal. And there we go. Right, let's get ourselves moving. Let's put the power up to 4. Release the brakes. Get on our way down this single track section. The thing with railroad traffic is it's not always going to go your way. Sometimes you do have to wait for other services, especially when you have these bi-directional tracks. And 25 miles an hour as well going around this bend. Like next to this little canal, and then it looks like we're actually going to go over it. Just up ahead, we should be able to go to 40 though in a moment, and then not too long after that go up to 60, so we can get a little bit of speed on. So there's the 40 marker. I'm going to apply a little bit of brake just because we're right on the edge. And we are going downhill. But then once we're off this bridge, we should be able to pop the throttle up all the way up to 60 and get back to top speed. It's like 68 sections here. That's a very, very narrow road for a car to go through. I'm assuming cars can go down there, but that looks very narrow to me. And that wasn't just a bug. That car's driving on the track. Actually, this is really cool. I see we're sat in the middle of a highway. Sometimes you see people do this on city skylines where they have the train track running down the middle of the highway. And let's just hope they stay that side of the barrier, unlike the guy before who was phasing through it. So, scenery-wise, this has been on point. This is actually enjoyable to drive, outside of the issues, unfortunately, with the frame drops. And I probably would play this route a little bit more. I'm not really big into my American trains, but it'll certainly be something I'd revisit from time to time, especially as I mentioned earlier in the video, doing a full freight run. Although that would be something that would probably be a live stream more than a video, just because of the amount of time it will take to do a full freight run out of LA to San Bernardino and then up the Cajun Pass. But yeah, I know Dovetail have mentioned they are going to do a patch soon as well, so hopefully the issues we have experienced today, it is just an optimization issue. I think on the roadmap stream they mentioned, for example, there being double or sometimes triple the amount of trees placed in certain areas, which has a big knock-on effect on frames. Really, it's something the QA team should have picked up on, but hopefully, as I said, when they do bring out the next patch, issues like that they're aware of do get worked out, and it will just make the experience a whole lot smoother. And a whole lot better to play, and the same with the Frankfurt line as well. Again, I tried it once and frame stutters were just absolutely killing the performance. And then it will run smooth like it is doing at the moment at 60 frames per second, and then as it's trying to load in all the scenery, it will just get the frame drops. Hopefully that gets fixed as well, and I can give that route its fair shot, because the one time I have tried the Frankfurt route so far, it was pretty much unplayable. This we have managed to at least do a full, as long as nothing goes wrong in the next 7 miles anyway, a full ride from Speedway all the way into downtown LA. And it has been fun. Try to bleed off a little bit of speed, get us down to the 55 that's coming up. We might be going back to dual track with the speed limit change. Bring us down a little bit more. And yeah, as I thought, we are going back to a little bit of a dual track section. I'm going to stay on the right hand side. Passing loop, I would assume. Yeah, it is just a passing loop for services. Now we're back to single track. Can put the speed on, speed up a little bit. Again, no point in going too far because we do have a 50 coming up again and then a 40 right after. So it appears we're going to be going for a station. It's going to bring us right the way back to the 40-mile-an-hour limit. So we're already at the speed we need to be at for this train station that's coming up in a moment. Big freeze there and on the frames. Again, issues like the tree issue I mentioned earlier, which Dovetail have confirmed on the roadmap is a problem. Like, that should be something that the QA team is picking up on before they release a product. They should be, they should be aware of that. That shouldn't happen. That we get performance drops due to just the sheer amount of foliage. And as Matt was saying in the roadmap stream, it's not that they're reducing the amount of foliage. It just, there's more than what they should be there. And I think that's probably the issue we're having here as we're going into LA, is just sheer amount of trees and stuff around us that's just killing our frame rate as it all tries to load in. Once it loads in, it's fine. But we're back to basically a perfectly smooth simulator. But that initial load is just, is just been brutal at times. We are coming to an end of today's trip. Just 2 and a bit miles to go. It shouldn't take us too long to get there, as long as we're not held at any more lights. I'm going to bring our speed down to 45. Just after this next signal that's coming up, there's a 45-mile-an-hour zone. So we'll just drop down to there now. Got 2 solid yellow lights. So we hit 45 here once we cross, and then down to 25 coming up. Get our NASCAR fans who've been at the Speedway today. Exciting day at the racetrack, I'm sure. At Auto Club Speedway, but they're nearly back home from a day out at the races. Looks like we're going to be crawling into a train station. We got to go all the way down to 15 here during this last mile. Throttle off. We're already at the 25 mark, what's coming up here, and we're pretty much already down to 15, which is what we need next. We seem to have a 12-mile-an-hour speed limit, which is a weird one to see pop up. Do you get many 12-mile-an-hour speed limits in the US? We're starting to see all the tracks combined now as a pan a camera around. Try and hold the speed where we are. Another track joining us from down there, so busy section of railroad really, as all these tracks combined just outside of Union Station. minimal application of brake, so we roll through. The station should just be over there, so should be arriving in a moment. A bit of a rail crossing here as well, it looks like. Busy network of tracks. Another Metrolink service just there as well. Outside as we wait to join the to pull into the station. I think that's probably it just there. And we crawl through this 12-mile-an-hour section. Seems like an interesting setup how the station is basically off the main line. And this seems to continue, and then there's just all these side tracks where the station is. And all these crossings and junctions pulling off this line to pull into the station. But here we are. This is LA Union Station. If you've enjoyed today's video and our little trip down the San Bernardino Line, don't forget to hit the like button and the subscribe button. Comment down below what you'd like to see me try out next on Train Sim World. And don't forget to hit the notification bell to stay notified as when a new video goes live. Other than that, this has been Sim by the Mile, and thank you for riding with us. For now though, goodbye.